Hello, 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 and welcome to my freezing cold shed for a new episode of Ask an Adventurer, where you send me questions and I do my best to answer them. And I've been doing this for a while now and even turned it into a book called Ask an Adventurer, which is about living adventurously, being creative and making a living. So not just about, in fact, not at all about actual adventure stuff. And if only my first question of the day had read it, that would have saved them the bother of asking me when you were first getting started, how did you get bookings for giving talks? Because I've written about that in here. The essence though is do talks for free, get references, get recommendations for other talks. Once you've done enough of those to feel that you're good, start to dare yourself to charge £50 for your talk. Keep doing those, get references, get recommendations, increase your fee until eventually someone goes, how much? And that's when you know you've reached your limit. But you get a much more in-depth answer from Ask an Adventurer. Question 2. I laughed when you mentioned that adventuring with other people is more fun until they do your head in. What are the types of things that people might do that would do your head in? It's very true. I love adventuring with other people, but when you spend a long time with them, it can start to grate. And one of the challenges of being an adventure partner is to try not to make yourself great on other people. When I rowed the Atlantic, I didn't really have any relevant skills for ocean rowing, except that I felt that by then I had enough expedition experience to not to be annoying to other people, and also I had enough expedition experience to absorb other people being annoying. And that was one of my major considerations about whether I was suitable to go across an ocean in a small boat with other people. Things that do your head in, that do my head in, I suppose people getting ready, people having a different idea of the pace of journey they want to be doing to you. Do they want to be going faster than you when you want to be slow and taking pictures? Are they going slower than you and chilling out when you want to be getting on with stuff? There's no right or wrong answer, but you need to be aligned in your pace. I find people packing up slowly in the mornings unbearably annoying because I'm probably unbearably fast at packing up in the morning. Selfishness, that is the key thing. You've got to be, when you're on an adventure, you have to be ruthlessly kind and supportive and tolerant and empathetic. I think annoyingness just comes from proximity though, spending too much time in a stressful situation with other people, sharing a small tent with someone so that their breathing starts to annoy you, or the way they eat and their licking of the spoon, table, there's some stuff like that drives me to a fury, and I'm sure it would do for the others in return to me. So small little things. And this is something I'm incredibly bad at, but if you can talk openly with that person about how they're making you feel, it is so helpful. I'm just clinically unable to do that, so I just sort of inside and try to be nice on the outside. What's the number one piece of advice you can give when it comes to bike packing? Wow. I would say travel as slowly as you can. If you think, oh, that might be a nice place to stop and take a picture, stop and take the picture. If you see someone doing something interesting, say stop and talk to them, have conversations, slow down, accept the detours, accept the invitations. Don't be so wedded to your route and schedule that you turn down serendipity and small little byways. If you'd already agreed with work for some time off travel, what tips would you give to ensure the trip is purposeful? And how do you identify that purpose? Well, dear reader, you probably need to sign up for my new newsletter called Adventure Plus Purpose, about how to trying to live adventurously with a sense of purpose. And this is not me giving out answers, this is me asking questions for myself and trying to figure it out, because increasingly that feels important to me, but there's no easy solutions. You want some purpose to your trip. I would ask yourself, what things intrigue you that can add some purpose? Are you interested in some citizen science? Google that, you'll find lots of ideas. Do you want to plant some trees along the way? Do you want to try and leave a place better than you found it? Not just leaving no trace, leaving a positive trace, making a conscious effort to tidy up a place? Or do you want your purpose to be to educate, to inform, to inspire other people about the things you're doing? In which case, perhaps you want to go down the storytelling route of taking photographs, writing blog posts, writing informative blog posts to teach people stuff. I think it really has to be something that intrigues you, that you can then add some purpose on, rather than it's because if I just tell you what to do, that's going to start to feel like tedious homework and a chore rather than adding value to your adventure. How do I discover what my next step is? I feel the urge to create something that could generate income as well. A blog, health coaching business, meditation guidance, books, poems, publications, etc. I'm not an expert in anything, but I love learning about random things. I just don't know what to start or how to start. I don't feel like I know much about any particular subject. Generally, people are going to consume online content or buy your book or hire you as a coach or pay for your meditation guides only if you can add something that they don't know already or that Google can't give them for free in 30 seconds. So you need to become either an expert or have a unique perspective. And so I think what you first need to do before you're going to make any income from these things is try all these different things and find which one fires your spark, that gets you excited and interested and makes you think, yes, I want to do more of these things, I want to do more of these things. And from that will come your knowledge and expertise, and once you have a unique voice on something, then you might start to grow an audience. And eventually, once you've grown an audience, a tiny fraction of those people might start to pay for it. For example, I make these videos, let's say, 1,000 people watch this. Hopefully a few of those people find it interesting. How many people would pay for that content? Vanishingly small. So trying to turn an interesting bit of content into something that earns money is a very, very hard thing. So if I was you, I'd put the income side of it further down the line and focus for now on trying to generate an audience of people who are interested in what you're saying. And I think what you really need to do first of all is find your voice. You're quite generic and broad at the moment. And you've said, I'm not an expert in anything, but I love learning about random things. So from knowing nothing about you, that's the only thing I have to go on here is maybe you need to be doing something about learning about random things. A great example of that would be the Kottke website, Kottke. He's made a living and a life just out of sharing random, interesting things. So maybe have a look down there, see if that gives you any ideas. I'd like to know where to begin planning an adventure. I feel totally lost, from inception of ideas to logistics to tips to outdoor skills. What kit you need? Help, please. Wow. If your adventure that you were planning was to go and climb K2 in the middle of the winter in your underpants, then yes, you would need a lot of expertise about logistics and skills and kit and stuff like that. But if it's not that, then I suggest you're possibly thinking about this the wrong way round. I mean, you could just literally walk out of your front door now, maybe jump on a bicycle if you happen to have a rusty old one in the shed, and pedal until you get really tired, turn around and pedal home, and you've had a tiny little adventure. So just getting started, I think, is much more important than thinking and planning and researching how to get started. Go do something tiny. Hopefully that inspires you and intrigues you to want to do a bit more, and then from the doing you'll start to learn a lot of the important skills along the way. And then a little bit further down the line, once you're actually planning a bigger trip, then yeah, you can start to focus on some of the factors, the logistics, the planning, the kit. But for now, it seems to me like you're so lost that you're just not doing anything. So just go outside this weekend, go as far as you can, eat some food that you happen to have in your fridge, eat that on top of a hill. You're in motion, you're getting some momentum, and you'll learn from that. You'll think, oh, hang on, if I'm walking up a hill, I'm kind of cold. I should have brought a woolly hat. And then you'll start to get some knowledge from that. Sorry, that's a rambly answer. What advice would you offer for camping throughout the UK on an extended bike packing trip? Is wild camping the way to go, especially in more remote areas like the Highlands in Wales? Well, the wonderful thing about wild camping is it completely frees up your schedule. So rather than having to get to a town to find a hotel, or having to get to a certain campsite before the reception closes for the evening at a certain venue, it completely frees up your schedule. It also is free, and it also is fun and exciting and more adventurous, and you can stop when it suits you. If you're totally knackered and it suddenly starts to pour with rain, don't cycle. You don't have to suddenly cycle another 15 miles of misery to get to your paid place to put up a tent. Instead, you can just wait till there are no cars around, run off the road, run behind those trees over there, hide behind that wall over there, get down in that dip out of sight from the road, stick up your tent, and you sleep in half an hour. So yeah, wild camping is wonderful. Of course, leave no trace, cause no problems, and smile if anyone sees you. They won't see you, but if they do, smile and have a friendly chat. It's completely fine. It's not a drama at all. Do you belong to a writers group? Recently I've joined, for the first time ever, because I'm quite an antisocial guy in a shed, I've joined an online writing group. It's the sort of thing which I think would make me cringe, but it's great. It's called London Writers Salon, but you can do it wherever you live in the world because it's on Zoom. And at 8 a.m. in the morning on London time, New York time, Los Angeles time and Australia time, which effectively just means, for me in England, 4 times in the day, you log on to Zoom and there are 100, 200, 300 other people there, and they say, hello, good morning, right, welcome to this group. Now we're going to get on and write for an hour. Everyone goes silent, everyone puts their head down, and you just see on Zoom 200 people beavering away writing, and you suddenly think, I'd better actually get on with some writing rather than just faffing around wasting my time. I'm finding it really motivational and inspiring and welcoming and simple. So London Writers Salon, big shout out, man. Do you know someone who has special needs, e.g. autism, and who's been inspired to get outside and go on an adventure, big or small? Have they shared their story? Yes, this is a very specific question. Well, I have a very specific answer for this, which is a book called The Autistic Guide to Adventure, Active Pursuits for Tweens and Teens. So a guide for adventurous ideas for young autistic people, written by Ali Mason. Boom. Give it a go. Hope it helps. Have you ever struggled with coming to the end of a project and finding the enthusiasm to starting something new? Never before have I had a problem working at my day job and then diving into creative work. Well, secret admission, the very reason I'm recording this video this morning is because I'm totally stuck with trying to actually get on and write a new book. And so I'm essentially doing a giant procrastination here, talking to my camera. I generally, through my working life, have just had millions of ideas and I'm always charging on to the next. But at the moment, I've been very much struggling with what comes next. I don't feel now the motivation to just write pure adventure stuff. I feel very motivated that I ought to be and want to be writing about climate and nature and those challenges. But I'm also feeling pretty despondent about the state of the world, and I can't really think of anything particularly unique, I have to say. So I am very much sympathizing and empathizing with you on that. So in that sense, I'm not the right person to answer this question, but I just thought maybe it might help to know you're not the only one. Keep reading books, keep being curious, try and think, what is your unique thing that you can add to the world? What excites you? What interests you? What are you curious about? And what is your unique take on those things that you can't find through 10 seconds of Googling? And maybe that's a starting point. And then just to finish off, I had, coming very thick and fast, 3 almost identical questions. Number 1, I've just hiked half of the Southwest Coast path. Fantastic. Mostly sleeping with a bivy bag. But I had a few horrid nights with slimy slugs getting on my bivy and sleeping bag. And all over my face. I do love the bivy and the tarp, but it got very unpleasant with the slugs. And then another question. Do you ever worry about anything nasty getting into your bivy bag? Either bugs or, one of my worst fears, an adder. And thirdly, I've recently started wild camping, looking to get a bivy bag. Do you wake up with slugs on your face or have problems with insects? Okay, number 1. If you end up with an adder in your bivy bag, I'd consider yourself to be an incredibly lucky person. They're very rare. This is not going to happen. So don't worry about that. I mean, if I did end up with an adder in my bivy bag, I would totally freak out, but it's not going to happen. So don't worry about the adder. The insects and a face mesh, oof. If you're camping in Midland, i.e. Scotland in summertime, a bivy bag is torture, awful agony. Please, I speak from horrific experience. If you're going in Midland, you want a little one-person tent with a midge net. You really do. And then the slugs. I've occasionally woken up with a couple of slugs on my bivy bag, but slugs are a bit gross. It's not really the end of the world though. Slugs in your face, that is pretty gross. I mean, this lady's had quite a lot of huge slimy slugs, so that is going to put off questioner 3, who's saying, do you wake up with slugs? I'm saying you don't wake up with slugs, but she's saying you do wake up with slugs. Wow, this is really fizzling out. Bivy bags are great. I suppose there's a couple of occupational hazards with it. Generally speaking, in many nights in a bivy bag, I don't have dramas with slimy things all over my face, but I guess with the right season or the right time of year, then it might happen a little bit. Maybe go stay in a Premier Inn. No slugs there. What a terrible fizzling out ending. Thank you for your questions. If you have any other questions, please add them to the Ask an Adventurer list, and I would love to answer them for you. Thanks very much, and goodbye. Gosh, this is really fizzling out. Come on, stop.